All right, Farhan Zaidi makes another completely underwhelming trade. We'll discuss it and evaluate it next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations. They're in Emeryville and Corte Madera, open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Well, we got a day before the trade deadline, and every team the Giants are competing with for a playoff spot has made a significant trade or more to add pieces to their puzzle, and the Giants make the most underwhelming trade of all time. Let's talk about it. The Giants and the Mariners, believe it or not, this is probably like the 50th Giant Mariner trade. Farhan and the Mariners GM must be tight. The Giants get A.J. Pollock and cash along with Mark Matthias, going to Seattle is cash or a player to be named later that can turn into more cash. So I guess you could look at this and go, well, it's a no-lose situation because you're just trading cash. But what are you getting back? A.J. Pollock is 35 years old. The Giants get Pollock and Mark Matthias, 27-year-old career minor league infielder, and some cash. Pollock's got $2.3 million left on his deal. He's currently on the disabled list, where he's spent a lot of time recently, and the Mariners wind up getting cash or a player to be named later that can also turn into more cash. All right. First, let's talk a little bit about Pollock. On the positive note, you know, he's done pretty well in San Francisco. Last year he had a 161 WRC plus stat against left-handed pitching, which is not awful. For those of you who don't know that stat, go look it up. It's a decent stat, but it's just another platoon player. If you like platoon players, you're gonna love this guy. AJ Pollock is 35 years old. He's hitting 173. And if you want to say, Krug, you're old, using batting average as a stat, fine. Use whatever stat you want. He's hitting 225. He's got a 225 on base. Does that make you happy? 173 average, 225 on base, 35 years old, injury-rich history, journeyman veteran at best, who's currently on the disabled list with hamstring injuries and leg injuries, and has played 49 games all year. I don't get it. I just don't get it at all. I don't see why you would make this trade. It seems like an insurance policy trade against maybe not being able to make another trade tomorrow. But Pollock's been hurt a ton. And he's just another journeyman, mid-30s, roster clogging veteran who can't hit, doesn't get on base, isn't much of a player anymore. And at least Pollock used to be somebody. Matthias is nobody and never has been anybody. He's a utility guy who's a 267 career minor leaguer who's, he did go to Cal Poly. So he's got that going for him, which is nice. But he's a 28-year-old utility player with options. I mean, this is just when you think Farhan can't do, make a more underwhelming addition. He'll be like, wait a second, you think that's underwhelming? I can top it. I'll pick up Pollock and Matthias and just have the entire industry laughing at me. He's just this guy's Matthias has been in the minor leagues for 7 years. Career minor leaguer, 267 minor league hitter, and the Giants wanted him. Why? Because he's got options, because he can play a few spots. Pollock, when he was good, could hit left-handed pitching, but that's not recently. He's a career 277 hitter against left-handed pitching. He's hitting 141 off left-handed pitchers this year. I get it. Yaz is out. It's insurance against Slater. It's insurance against Haniger. It's another veteran right-handed bat. So on, blah, 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 whatever. How about recall Elliot Ramos, who's 23 and has power and speed and is hot in AAA? I'd rather see them recall Elliot Ramos. and see if he can fulfill his vast potential. But no, he's on the outs because he's not one of Farhan's favorites. Probably came from the previous regime. Farhan doesn't like him. He's 23 with crazy bat speed. It wasn't that long ago that Marty Lurie was comparing Elliot Ramos to Willie Mays. And now, he's got a nice little hot streak going in AAA. He's hitting the crap out of the ball, driving the baseball like 110 miles an hour. And he's sitting right there at AAA, and he's had a nice stretch recently. Why not just recall him? But Ramos is probably going somewhere else in a trade in the next 24 hours. So they have to go pick up A.J. Pollock. So, once again, the disparity between the guys that Giants fans talk about getting, guys like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani and Giancarlo Stanton and Bryce Harper, and then the guys that Farhan Zaidi actually acquires is just so massive that it's comical. I mean, Matthias is a minor leaguer with options. 27-year-old career minor leaguer. He is from Fremont, so he's got that local tie, which is nice. And he did go to Cal Poly when my kid goes there, so I like that. But Matthias is a nobody, and Pollock is 35 and used to be somebody, but he isn't anymore. 173 with a 225 on base. Used to hit lefties well. This year's hitting 141 off lefties. Has been hurt pretty consistently for the last few years. I don't know why the Mariners gave him a 1-year, $7 million contract. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. And now the Giants are, it is absurd too. The Giants are like one of the richest teams in all of baseball, and they're getting money from the Mariners to help pay for A.J. Pollock's contract. So whatever. Yaz is out 2 to 3 more weeks. You don't know what you're going to get. If Slater gets hurt, you need a right-handed bat, I guess. Mitch Haniger is another right-handed bat. He's been hurt all year. Terrible signing by Farhan. So, I mean, believe me, I'm a Giants fan. I would love to be positive. I would love to sit there and go, hey, Giants making moves at the deadline. No. Cubs are making moves. Dodgers are making moves. Almost every team, Diamondbacks, everybody, the Reds, every team that the Giants are competing with for a playoff spot are making significant moves. And one day before the deadline, Giants fans get A.J. Pollock and Mark Matthias. Wow. Make it stop. Please make it stop. Hopefully, maybe the Giants have the hitting guru that can, turn back time and make Pollock more like a 270 hitter that he's been most of his career against left-handed pitching. But if he does for the Giants what he's done for the Mariners, then he's hitting 141 off lefties, 173 for the year. And if you love on base percentage, 225. 225 on base. 350 is a good on base percentage. 225, not so much. So call me underwhelmed, call me negative, whatever you want. Call me whatever you want. I call it like I see it. That is the biggest nothing burger of all time. A.J. Pollock and Mark Matthias for cash and a player to be named later. Farhan, hopefully you got something more cooked up for tomorrow. Otherwise, this could go down as one of the worst trade deadlines ever for the Giants. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show. We're over 20,000 subs, getting close to 21,000 subs. And we thank every single one of you. And thanks for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.